Hey guys, welcome to my channel. It's been a while, but today I'm joined by a very special guest, the head trainer of Endorphins Baliganj, Deveshwar Mishra, aka Sunny. Sir, welcome to the channel.
Hello.
Today I'm going to talk to him about all things fitness and training. But before we do that, I must ask you, how did you get into your training?
Hello Viraj, and thanks for calling me here. So, it all started when I was 15, and I had a severe back injury, and then I diagnosed that I have spinal bifida. It's a by birth disease, and many times you get diagnosed at the age of 40 also, maybe later or maybe sooner. But I was unlucky that I got at the age of 15, and later on, and I was not knowledgeable enough to go to a physiotherapist, go to a someone who is knowledgeable about musculoskeletal dysfunctions to fix it. So I went to a doctor, how everyone does. So I went to a lot of orthopedic doctors, orthopedic surgeons also. I went to them, and most of them told me, you have to do a surgery because your back is in a very bad condition, and without surgery you can't survive. Then I thought maybe this is the end, and I won't be able to play anymore. So 2 years I was like roaming around in the entire city, and nobody could help me out what to do, how to go for further like exercises. And I used to ask them, what exercise can I do? So they were clueless. They were like, no, 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 you can't do anything. You just have to do core. That time, like very good word I heard, the core. Nobody taught me what is core. Now I know what is core, and I studied about it. And it's a deep thing. It's not so easy for anyone to understand what is core. Deep abdominal muscles, how to train them. And if your deep abdominal muscles are weak, you'll end up injuring your back. So then I met Kamalda. So for two
Who's
years
a
I could not
physio
fix
here?
myself, and I was finding it difficult to even get up from the floor after having my lunch, dinner. My parents used to pick me up. So from there, I met first I met Rondip sir, my friend. He got me to Rondip sir, and Rondip sir told me you go to him because he's the best person. Going to doctors is not the solution, because your body is not, your bones are not broken. If your bones are broken, then you have to go to them for surgery. And but if you have musculoskeletal injuries, and you have to go to physio. So I went to Kamal, and Kamalda told me ki you just have normal injury, and it's fine. If you have that issue, you have to be careful in life, because everyone can have multiple issues in their body, and that's musculoskeletal. I'm not talking about any kind of health issues inside the body. Any organs is not working properly. Any you have problem in the blood vessels, you have problem in the limb, anyway, whatever. So then he told me you just have to do a lot of mobility and stretching. You have to improve your flexibility, because I was not at all flexible. I was very stiff, and I was very immobile. I never used to stretch also. So my stretching was like this. I used to roll my hands, this, and I used to start pulling. So that was not enough, because nobody in India taught like that. That you have to do like this. You have to do a proper warm up. You have to go ahead like this. You have to do mobility. Then you do a proper heating up the body, heating up the joints by doing the same kind of specific drills. So then he educated me. Educated me with and he gave me everything. And he fixed my back in 11 days. I still remember 11 days it took. My pain was gone. From 2 years, I was struggling so much. But in 11 days, I like, for me, he's like God. For how did he come in my life? And then from there, he told me, now my work is done. And still that back injury was like coming back again, going again, coming back. So every year I used to take minimum 30 sessions of ultrasounds, like physiotherapy session. And he used to put ultrasound, because my body was not being able to take it, and not being able to handle the pressure of bowling quick, and I was not strong enough to take that load. So at the age of 20 plus, yeah, 20 plus. So it was my, and I felt that my left side of my body is not responding that well, because I used to take painkillers every single day. So 7 years I took painkillers every single day. I used to take and go practice, and on off, and then I have taken injection also, many like pain relief injection. I forgot the name also, what my injection. So then after that, my left side of my body, I was finding it difficult to respond. And one day I was bowling, and I saw my left side collapse completely. And then I got very scared, and scared in the sense I might lose my life. I got my body might got paralyzed. Huh? So then I went to Kamal and I asked him what to do now. He said, just don't play cricket. And this is my suggestion. More than playing cricket, you have other things also to do. And one door will get closed, other will open. So you have to see with a open mind, and you have to see the future also. So then I left cricket, and I thought this is the best decision I'm taking for my life, because I can't risk my life. Then I got up from there. I went to around this and I told him I want to become a trainer. And he told me कि तुमको अपना body ठीक करना होगा. You can't look like this, because I was 62 or 63 my body weight was, and I was like this, very thin. He told me you have to do a lot of training and you have to build your personality. Then I entered training at the age of 21.
And obviously training, so endorphins has been a big part of your life. We are here right now at Endorphins. So talk to me, sir, about what this gym is all about, because I keep reading people ask if this is a CrossFit gym or if it's a normal gym, why does it not have treadmills? What is the issue with treadmills? What's the myth behind, is treadmills good or bad? And what kind of a gym is Endorphins? Why is it different?
So I'll tell you, Viraj, like see, Endorphins is a corrective exercise studio. So corrective in the sense, everything you do every exercise correctly is a corrective exercise. Like you do a squat. Okay, if you can't squat properly, you can do that squat in a correct manner by taking help of the Swiss ball, by taking help of something else, like in front of what we do. We keep a kettlebell in front and you hold the kettlebell and sit properly. But we don't encourage people to continue doing squat in an incorrect way. Like so a few people do squat like this, their back is rounded, spine alignment is not good, knees are going ahead, ankles are collapsing. That is not the proper way to do it. So corrective exercise in the sense, every exercise should be done correctly. Like you do a deadlift, there's a science behind every exercise. Why we are doing it, how much scapula should move, how much shoulder should move, and why we are doing it, for what benefit we are doing it. If you want to pick up something from the floor, you have to bend. And we follow 7 primal pattern. And you must be seeing this, we can't capture in the camera, but there are little primal pattern. So 7 primal pattern is the squat, bend, lunge, push, pull, twist, and gate. So human body doesn't move outside this. So in this 7 primal pattern, and when you also train, you must be figuring out, we only teach people in that 7 primal pattern. And if you are very good in all those patterns, then you don't have to worry for anything. You don't have to worry for getting injured. If you're getting injured also, you will recover very fast, because your body knows how to heal fast, because your body has only done good training, only done training in a proper way. If your body has a lot of dysfunction, then it's very difficult. So in Endorphins, I'm coming back to your question. So in Endorphins, we do corrective exercise as well as strength and conditioning. So this completely looks like a strength and conditioning facility, but when we see people, we diagnose them, we do proper assessment and screening. We do musculoskeletal screening, then we see movement screening also we do, which is FMS, functional movement screening. So we have a lot of FMS screening expert also in our gym. So we have Spandan, myself, as well as we are teaching all the youngsters also. We are upgrading them about we are educating them. So in movement screening also, by moving them, we see how and where they are struggling. So this is what is done. And coming back to your question, second question, treadmill. So I wouldn't say treadmill is bad, but yes, running on a treadmill, you need to have lot of mobility in your ankle. You need to have lot of strength in your calf muscle, in your glutes, in your hamstring, so that running on a treadmill, like see, when we run on a ground, it works like a suspension. Every time we hit the ground, we move forward by scratching the ground like this. Okay, you see, most of the time you'll see footballers, because you have to sprint, and sprinters also, you see most of the time they are on their toes. So when we are moving ahead, so in a treadmill, what happens, the suspension is not that great. So you're hitting the ground too hard, and that surface is anyways very hard. And when you are running, you'll see there's a tuck, 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 tuck. There's a sound coming up from the treadmill, and that impact is putting a lot of stress in your ankle. And suppose, for example, your ankle is not in a good condition and still you're running. That means what will happen if your ankle is not in a good condition? You will end up using the neighbor joints. What are the neighbor joints? Your knee, your hip joint, and from there it will go upstream, and slowly you'll get pain in your knee. I'm not saying you will 100% get, but you will get discomfort in your knee, you'll get discomfort in your hip joint, and your ankle will slowly stop responding the way it should be responding, like the plantar flexion, okay, the dorsiflexion, it will stop responding. If this is not happening, then you will not propel in forward movement while running. So that's why, and when people come here, because like it's very difficult what we do and what we teach, it's very difficult to make someone understand in 5 minutes time, because not everyone is educated enough to understand this, because we have to study for like so many books. You have to study about biomechanics, about human anatomy, about physiology, about body movement, body mechanics, and about how why is it done in a proper way, about program designing. So it's not easy. So that's why we don't give 1 month membership. I'm coming back to that. We don't give 1 month membership because we don't encourage anyone. If you want to come to us, you come to us for 3 months minimum, because it takes time to learn. If somebody has internal rotation, that means his outside muscles are very weak. Gluteus medius or the vastus latalis, all the outside muscle, his glutes are weak. That's why he or she is in this condition. So to get back here, you have to stretch all the muscles inside. You have to lengthen strengthen all the muscles outside. So that's why these are therapeutic exercises, corrective exercises, which we include. So this enhances the performance of an individual.
So another question I had with regards to corrective exercise training, like you said, was how is it correct to judge someone based on how much weight they lift? Because when I have conversations with people I work out with, they say, how much are you squatting? How much are you deadlifting? Is that the right way to judge someone's success in a workout pattern?
No, I won't say this is not a good way to judge someone. I would say, okay, I'm lifting 100 kg. Okay, for how long you are lifting 100 kg? Okay, from last 2 years I'm lifting 100 kg. 100 kg, 120, 100 kg, 110, 100 kg, 100. But from 100 it has not come to 50. It has not come to 40. Not even once I came to 50 or 40. That means what? That person has not got injured. That person has not. That person haven't left training. That person had maintained the consistency of training. So that's the biggest point. When you see someone, when you judge someone, that means that person is fit. Like I trained so many women and so many men who are 50 plus. But from last 2 years, 3 years, they have maintained. They have that consistency is there. They are becoming better and better. That means what? That's how you judge the person. For me, that consistency is very important. I see people lifting 150 kg. Suddenly they are going back to 50 kg. Why? I got a severe back injury. What's the point? So I give it a name, ego lifting. It will make you feel good for like a couple of seconds, maybe a couple of minutes, couple of hours. That's it. But that will not make you feel successful in a training from a training point of view, because we have only done it once. So, for example, Virat Kohli, he has done it from so many years. He's only performing. Okay, for example, Sachin Tendulkar is only performed in his life, in his career. So, like that, you have to maintain that. That's how I say that person is successful from a training point of view.
And so, moving on to some myth busters within training. When someone enters the gym, they think, now I have to take supplements, BCAA, protein powder, creatine, something or the other I have to carry with me, and they walk like that.
Shaking whole day.
Yeah. So is it important? And if it is, what is the right amount to take? Can it differ from person to person? Or is everyone taking the same amount?
So I'll tell you, Viraj, see, I have seen like most of them, I've seen they enter the gym. They breathe gym air and they're like, we need a protein shake. Amla, why do you need? Because you have just entered. 2 बार तो सांस लियो आप बस जिम में और तो कुछ किया नहीं. So I don't understand this logic, and this happens in the entire world. They think you need protein shake the moment you enter the gym. You don't. And first of all, you have to go to a professional. If you are not going to a professional, how do you know your body needs a protein? Okay, how much amount your body needs? Maybe you are having too much. Maybe you don't need it. And for that, you have to do proper blood tests. You have to do allergy test. There are a lot of things you have to do. You have to see how much your body is breaking down. Like breaking down in the sense how much energy it's using throughout the day and how much energy it requires to perform. So with this, I would only say, because I'm a strength and conditioning coach, I don't suggest anyone regarding any food. I don't even tell them have this, have that. I don't even suggest them that, because I'm not an expert, and everyone should go to an expert. Like somebody is coming to me for training, I make proper chart, I do proper screening. I tell them this is my job, this I know, this is my subject. Apart from that, I have no clue about what is happening. And if you want any help, you have to go to an expert. So everyone should go to an expert before jumping onto a solution. Okay, somebody, and most of the trainers, they speak like this. Okay, take creatine, take BCAA. How can you say like this? You can't say he needs a BCAA. How do you know how much his body is breaking down? That is his. Suppose he's having chicken, his body is breaking down into branched amino acid. How much his body is breaking down? Maybe he's having 1 kilo of chicken in a day. You never know. And after that, if you're giving him more protein, it will create a lot of gut issues. And slowly, all his cells will not respond so well in future time. So everyone should be careful. And my suggestion to everyone is like go to the expert. You can't just it's not general that okay, everyone is having, I'll also have. It's like everyone is having that medicine, I'll also have that medicine. There should be a prescription for everything, and you have to go to an expert.
And so another, obviously coming on from that, another myth I've read and heard a lot of people say, including some of my friends before I started working out, was don't join the gym, your body will become stiff and your flexibility will reduce. Is that true?
Yeah, you can say, because most of the gyms are like that. Because most of the gyms are completely machine based, and in a machine based, you have to move in a fixed path. So that's why it's better to not join a gym. And before joining a gym, you have to do proper. Just now I said, like you have to do proper research on who and what they do, and especially in this country, like people just go to the gym and they ask, like you laugh now, spa hai, okay, steam room hai, okay, canteen hai. Nobody's asking about okay, what you guys do, what you guys are specialized in. Why do you do this in this matter? How can you improve me? How can you improve my body from becoming better and all? So they enter the gym and they're like, treadmill nahi hai, hum log track pe bhag rahe hain. And they're like, oh, acha, but treadmill nahi hai. How does it make any difference? I'm like, here you can, like in a treadmill, you just have to run straight. Like you keep on running. You can't take a deceleration, acceleration. These things you can't do agility drills and nothing you can do. So they feel like that. So before going to any gym or any fitness center, you have to do proper research what they are specialized in. If you're going to a gym which is full of machines, you don't expect them to improve your flexibility, because it is full machine based. And in machine based gym, it's completely fixed path movement. And fixed path, I mean to say that it will not move in a proper manner, how naturally the body is designed to move. So body is designed to move in multiple directions, but in machine you'll move in only one direction. And if your body gets into that zone, gets into that pattern, then your body will find it difficult to again come back to the correct way.
And so obviously you touched upon an important topic there. In anywhere in the world, whenever you're going to a gym, how do you identify what is the right gym for you? Because obviously every person is different. The same method may not work for everyone. So how does one identify that this is the place for me, or these are the questions I should be asking when I go to a gym to identify which is the perfect place for them?
Okay, for that you have to educate yourself. I'm telling you, before becoming a trainer, I knew which gym is good and which gym is bad. Okay, so how? Because I used to educate myself. I used to, at the age of 16, 17, I used to know what is spinal bifida. So I educated myself, and I only read, I would suggest to everyone, only read research papers. Research paper in the sense from top universities, from top doctors, and from top researchers. Only read research papers. Don't just go for general like Google typing and all that. Just read research paper. And when you read research papers, it's normal English. Everyone can read and understand. At least they can understand who is fooling them and who is giving them actual proper reason to train properly.
And so lastly, on this topic about myths, I wanted to ask, what is the right age for a young person to start training? Is there a particular age, or when should someone start thinking seriously about training properly at the gym?
From the age from which they can take commands properly, okay, and they can understand whatever a coach is trying to explain them, that kid, and that kid is understanding that command, and that kid is executing that is the right age, I feel. And it can be any age. It can be 5, 6, 7, 8. So according to the American Council of Exercise, they say 7 year, post 7, and strength and conditioning America also say post 8. But I have trained kids at the age of 5 also. So like 2 days back, I got a kid. He's 3-year-old, and his mother wanted me to train him because she's like, he wants to become a cricketer. He's very passionate. The whole day he only stays with a cricket bat. I said he can't take my command properly, and he might get injured because so many people are there in the gym. So I did not take the risk. I told her, you wait for another 1 year, then we'll see if your kid is taking information properly, taking the command properly, positively, and listening to the command and executing. I feel that's the right age because I have trained a lot of kids, and I feel that's the right age. And at the age of 8, 9, I think most of the kids can take all the command.